What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? I meant to go get another bottle of water. It's right out, refrigerator right outside, which is outside. Hey, check this out, man. 50 Cent reveals he saved Terrence Howard from Diddy. 50 Cent is saying that he the one saved Terrence. Man, when y'all think this circle is finished, it ain't nowhere near finished. The party show. Terrence Howard's Diddy smash. I'm trying not to say some of the words. That's why I'm over here struggling. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Shout out to Terrence Howard for keeping his man card. Let's check him out.
For weeks asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. He wants to hang out with you next week, and I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f*** you.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that.
And Terrence Howard worked on my first film, Get Rich or Die Trying with me. He's a good friend of mine.
Can't help it. This is real life that we're talking about. We're not talking about dingleberries and applesauce. Yeah, real life.
Just when you thought the Diddy drama couldn't get any messier, 50 Cent is stepping in with another bombshell, revealing he might have literally saved Terrence Howard from becoming the next victim of Diddy's freaky games. But that's not all. Terrence is also finally speaking out, and he's naming names of all industry men who didn't tell Diddy no. Terrence just spilled some major tea on the twisted industry game, how some men agreed to give up their man card at those FO parties, and how he barely escaped Diddy's trap. But here's where it gets even more wild. 50 Cent has allegedly reached out to Terrence to appear in his upcoming docuseries, Did He Do It? And from what we're hearing, these two are teaming up to expose it all. So who are the men who said yes to Diddy? Well, the big names are being thrown into the mix, including some of your favorite rappers. But does 50 Cent actually have receipts lined up for the documentary to expose all of Diddy's party guests? And what exactly happened to Terrence Howard when Diddy tried to lure him into one of these parties? Let's break it down.
I'm always right. It's like when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So I'm still right because I could have been wrong.
So just in case you haven't seen it yet, Terrence Howard recently stopped by the PB podcast for a wild interview and opened up about how some famous people gave up their integrity at those industry parties.
Wow. Do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties.
And then Terrence took things even further, saying this is exactly what happened with a lot of the celebs who went to Diddy's parties.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Wow.
Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You should have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
And when the host, Patrick Bet David, brought up names like Justin Bieber, suggesting they might have been caught up in Diddy's mess, Terrence agreed, saying you can tell some of these people are still dealing with the trauma of whatever went down.
Get it? So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy.
Damn.
And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal.
But Terrence didn't stop there. He also claimed that Diddy actually tried to hook up with him. He said Diddy first reached out pretending he needed help with acting, then later started showing interest in Terrence's music. But that's when Terrence's assistant gave him a heads up that something didn't feel right.
Hey, did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f*** you.
However, Terrence made it clear that Diddy wasn't the only one, and he had other run-ins with big-name producers who came at him with shady offers.
To be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
And according to Terrence, staying true to himself cost him a lot of major opportunities in Hollywood just because he refused to bend over, in every sense of the phrase.
And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
So, as you can probably guess, social media went wild after Terrence's interview started making the rounds, mainly because most other celebs are staying silent and acting like they never even knew Diddy. Besides a few like 50 Cent and Cat Williams, Terrence is really the only big star who's come out and openly said Diddy tried to smash him. Speaking of Fiddy, he recently talked about his upcoming documentary on Diddy, and when they asked him why he's the only one speaking out, Fiddy said it's simple. Unlike a lot of these celebs who are quiet now, he never went to any of those Freakoff parties.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Damn.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. All of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
And now Fiddy's also weighed in on Terrence's claims about Diddy trying to pull him into a freak-off. He posted a clip from Terrence's interview on his IG and wrote, "No comment, I'm staying positive. God help us all." Well, one way Fiddy's staying positive is by using all this Diddy drama as material for his upcoming Netflix documentary, which is set to expose all the allegations about Diddy.
When I say 50 Cent is unmatched, he is unmatched. His pettiness goes beyond anybody that has ever been petty in the hemisphere of pettyism in this damn universe. Child, 50 Cent made a bidding war off of Diddy Do It. Diddy Do It was bought by Netflix, baby. So this docuseries will be out about everything that has happened since Cassie has filed this lawsuit against Diddy. Leave 50 Cent out of everything because this man's pettiness is beyond compare.
But here's where it gets even pettier. Sources are saying Fiddy has allegedly already reached out to Terrence to see if he'd be interested in joining his documentary and sharing more details about how Diddy tried to get him involved in one of his FO sessions. And it's actually no surprise that Fiddy wants Terrence for the Diddy Do It series, since these two go way back. Fiddy has supported Terrence before, especially when he spoke out about being scammed out of millions and blacklisted by major studios. For context, Terrence recently started speaking out about the inequality in Hollywood, but he believes the issue goes beyond money. He claimed that Hollywood has an agenda to undermine the masculinity of black men and said he was labeled difficult just because he refused roles where he'd have to wear a dress or play a gay character. The man has been demonized, Terrence said. With the new formula, most men are made to be effeminate and not have their power or sense of strength. They allow white men to be able to be strong, but when it's black men, it's seen as a threat. Terrence was also asked about Taraji P. Henson's claim that she was underpaid for her work as a black woman in Hollywood, and he said he wasn't surprised because this kind of thing has been happening for a long time. And then he brought up his role in Hustle and Flow and said if he knew back then how things worked in Hollywood, he might have made different choices. Hustle and Flow was released by Paramount in 2005 and became a big hit, earning over $75 million at the box office.
$75 million.
But believe it or not, Terrence was only paid $12,000 for his role. And on top of that, he still hasn't received any royalties for the songs he performed in the movie.
I heard Terrence say out of his mouth $6,000. So where they getting $12,000 from? But either way, those are some very low numbers. $12,000 for that Hustle and Flow whole movie. He got paid $12,000. That is like robbery. That's crazy, man.
The box office. But believe it or not, Terrence was only paid $12,000 for his role. And on top of that, he still hasn't received any royalties for the songs he performed in the movie.
Really transformative?
No, check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. And then on top of it, what Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing the songs, they put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount. They went,
wait a minute. They didn't go to Terrence Howard. They went to
$12,000. That's all I ever made from Hustle and Flow.
Terrence also mentioned he's thinking about suing Paramount to get back the money they owe him from the past 20 years. And that's not all. He also revealed he was paid just $6,000 for his Oscar-winning role in Crash.
Sue Paramount or send.
Okay, that's my bad. See, Uncle Mike is human. I make mistakes. I remember him saying $6,000 for a movie. How about that? I thought the movie was Hustle and Flow, but come find out it was $6,000 for Crash. He wasn't a leading. Was he a leading? He wasn't really a leading role for that movie, Crash. That was a good movie, by the way, Terrence.
They owe him from the past 20 years. And that's not all. He also revealed he was paid just $6,000 for his Oscar-winning role in Crash.
I gotta sue Paramount or send them a letter.
Are you serious?
I gotta send them a letter to say, hey, you guys owe me about 20 years worth of residuals and performance royalties. But I didn't know. I was just trying to pay my rent then. I made $6,000 doing Crash. Crash didn't.
I remember the movie Crash. Yes, that's right. That's right.
The business don't pay actors anything. That's why the strike is going on. Actors are struggling.
So after 50 Cent saw this, he quickly offered to help both Terrence and Taraji, asking them to consider working with him at G-Unit Films and Television and promising to pay them what they truly deserved. 50 shared a clip of Terrence talking about how he was underpaid for Hustle and Flow, and he wrote in the caption, "This ish hurt my stomach to hear. Terrence, say this, F them. I need the best actors, and I'm gonna pay them. Taraji, you cool with Mary J. Blige. Ask her. She got a big effing bag." 50 then again urged Terrence to come work with him and wrote in another post, "Damn, Terrence, call my phone. I will get you the money they was supposed to get for you. I'm not playing no games over here." So now that Terrence has spoken out against 50's longtime enemy, Diddy, it's the perfect time for these two to team up and expose everything together. And while fans are loving that 50, Terrence, Cat Williams, and a few others had the guts to say no to Diddy, the real question is, who said yes? Terrence made it clear that many men in the industry lost their man card by letting Diddy take advantage of them, and you can probably guess a few names. Sources are saying 50's fully committed to his upcoming documentary, making sure all these men get called out. So who's next to be exposed? Well, one name that keeps popping up is Jay-Z. Even though Jay's now acting like he's never been close to Diddy, before all this drama started, Diddy was calling Jay his extended family, and he even said Jay was his strategist, the first person he calls when he's in trouble.
This is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. It's my strategist right here. This my brother. It's B.I.G's brother. Yes, sir. It's Brooklyn's own Brooklyn.
And then there's also that clip where Diddy mentioned how Jay skipped Blue Ivy's recital just to perform at Bad Boy's 20th anniversary show.
Your homie's doing a lot of things, man. Most importantly, you know, he had a recital that he has to be at the Blue. But I reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. This is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs.
So now Jay is saying he and Diddy were never really friends, but he missed a huge moment in his daughter's life just to be on stage with him. And let's not forget that during Diddy's 2023 carpool karaoke with James Corden, he openly said that Jay is the only one besides his mom who gets to call him by his government name.
I'm not approved.
No, you're not. I love you, but Sean is a whole
not there yet. I appreciate that. I'm not there yet.
You know, yeah.
Who is Sean approved from the world of entertainment?
There's only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay,
that should be calling me. Yeah, they should be calling me Sean.
Plus, just months before Cassie's lawsuit came out in November 2023, Diddy got a BET Lifetime Achievement Award, and Jay-Z recorded a tribute for him. Something Jay doesn't do for just anyone.
The whole mantra can't stop, won't stop. It's like, you gotta be relentless. You gotta have a bit of crazy. You can't take no for an answer. You gotta make it happen. He embodies that. There's this guy from the neighborhood similar to where I've grown up that made it to these unreachable heights. Puff was the first one that came through and made us feel like, it was us. It was ghetto fabulous. We took our rightful place at the tables in the boardrooms and the fashion shows and we arrived. That impact obviously had an effect on all of us and let us carve our own space. And it was like, we could be in these spaces without assimilating. We're going to be in these spaces as ourselves. To change someone's mindset and take the limits off of kids' dreams. You dream about things when you see it done. Then that dream becomes attainable and it's something that you can reach for. It just feels like the ultimate culture. You can't measure that. It's like you get in there and it'll make you believe that you can do anything.
Even though there's a whole video of him all oiled up and shirtless in Diddy's house while Diddy sings happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. This is a special birthday for both of us. Yeah.
And then there's also that viral photo of Diddy and French looking like they were spooning while partying in Miami. And of course, 50 Cent wasn't gonna let this slide. He shared this photo on Instagram and wrote in the caption, "What in the world is going on in this picture, man? Something's not right." But we also can't forget about The Game, who's also rumored to be in 50's upcoming documentary. In his 2022 interview on Drink Champs, The Game said Diddy approached him to make an album, but for almost 2 years, all they did was travel the world while Diddy spoiled him with expensive gifts.
I started kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years. And this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, you with your demo, that bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? Like, nah, I was doing it for 2 years. Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy, pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy.
And then when The Game appeared on Vlad TV after the Diddy allegations came out, he mentioned again how he spent 2 years with Diddy but didn't make any music. Instead, they spent the whole time partying together in Atlanta.
Hey, wasn't Puffy interested in working with you also?
Yeah, Puff. I was running around with Puff for a minute, but we was just partying, man. Puff liked to party. So that's basically all we did. I think the few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just,
Okay, but I mean, Puffy was a huge deal back then.
Still a huge
he's still a huge deal, but he's not doing music anymore, is what I'm saying. Back then, Bad Boy was on fire, and he's running around with you. And, Puffy's a busy guy.
I was running around with him.
Yeah. You were running around with him. Right. Was he talking about signing you, or what exactly happened?
Nah, Puff he wanted to sign me. He just, he was moving around. Like, he had the restaurant Justin's in Atlanta, so we was in and out of that. A lot of parties in Atlanta with him and V and, Big Wolf and, Fab and Jeezy was just, Fab was already on. Jeezy was coming of age. But we just partied.
But this is just the beginning. Other names that might be dragged into 50's documentary include Diddy's longtime friend and producer, Stevie J. Stevie was actually named in a lawsuit against Diddy filed by producer Lil Rod, who claimed Diddy bragged about sleeping with Stevie. By the way, Stevie already responded to 50 after 50 called him out for defending Diddy, and let's just say he got a little too defensive. So it'll be interesting to see what 50 decides to expose about Stevie in his documentary.
I don't know whatever someone does in their bedroom, that's what they do. I don't got nothing to do with that. I'm just here to say that I've never seen my man doing anything foul like they talking about.
None of it. All of it. I mean, you know.
I've never seen it. I've known him for 29 years. And then it's like with guys like 50, you know what I'm saying? Like Uncle Tom cats like that. Damn. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now you want to put me, I don't know if y'all saw the post where 50 posted about me. Of course you guys seen it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, 50 has been going after Diddy and everybody associated with him for months now, ever since the Cassie lawsuit.
Look how they looking at
you
him.
know what I'm saying? But, you can't brush under the rug. I don't see anybody reporting about what Tatted Up Holly said about him beating her up and about, you know what I'm saying, his other baby mom saying beating her up. I just look at it as, he wants to bring the black community down worse than anyone else.
And then there's Machine Gun Kelly, who was signed to Bad Boy and partied a lot with Diddy. MGK even talked about seeing some crazy stuff around Diddy, but he never went into details.
It's not normal. You kick it around him, it's like, his whole life is like, it's crazy to look at, you know what I'm saying? Because I make sure I keep my normality all the time. But that motherfucker's like a walking corporation, it's nuts.
Finally, we also have to mention DJ Khaled and Rick Ross, who were exposed by Diddy's former ex-worker, Jonathan Odie, during his police questioning. Jonathan said Diddy hired him for those Freakoff sessions, and when he complained about getting an STD from Diddy, he claimed Diddy sent Rick Ross to shut him up. He also alleged that Diddy, Rick Ross, and DJ Khaled all participated in those wild parties and were all gay.
Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay. Who? Both. Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
As you can see, the list of men in the industry who, as Terrence Howard put it, might have lost their man card at Diddy's parties is pretty long, and we haven't even mentioned half of them. Basically, anyone who was seen partying with Diddy and now acts like they don't know him should be side-eyed. Now all we can do is wait for 50 Cent's docuseries to drop. But in the meantime, let us know what you think about Terrence Howard's claims that Diddy tried to smash him. Also, what other celebs do you think should be exposed in 50's Did He Do It documentary? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss this next video.
Golly. Boy, as soon as you... man. Things are getting lit up, man. I keep saying, man, how are these people surviving in this music industry when nobody's buying the music? Ain't nobody buying no Rick Ross songs. God dang, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. How these people making all this big money, showing all this jewelry and all this stuff? DJ Khaled, we the best music. Get out of here, man. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.